What began as a promising internet romance ended with a conviction of attempted murder. Today, former rocket scientist David Ross Goldberg was sentenced for a crime in a Victoria courtroom. Monica Martinez has more on the final chapter in this twisted murder plot.
It was the summer of 2007 when 36-year-old American microwave engineer David Ross Goldberg met a young woman in her early 20s from Thailand over the internet. A few months later, he traveled to her homeland to meet her in person. The couple got engaged, and Goldberg gave her family $30,000 as a dowry. Goldberg's fiancée, Tacha Arunjaratsang, stopped all communication with him. In early 2008, she sent him an email saying she had married this man, Jeremy Walsh. The couple had been living in Saanich, where Goldberg tracked them down in 2008 and pointed a gun at them.
It didn't sound like a firework. I was fairly certain it sounded like a gunshot, so we could hear people yelling, "Help!"
Walsh lunged in self-defense at Goldberg and stabbed him repeatedly. Goldberg was charged with attempted murder and harboring explosives. He was sentenced to 9.5 years for attempted murder and 18 months for harboring explosives, to be served concurrently.
And he's no longer in that dark, despondent, weakened state that he was when these things happened. And this case is obviously a product of a state of mind that hopefully he'll never suffer from again.
The sentence of 9.5 years was just under the Crown's recommendation of 10 to 17 years. The judge said among the considerations were that Goldberg had no previous criminal record, that he is to return to the U.S. once his sentence is complete, and that the impact to the victims, while emotionally traumatic, were not life-threatening.
What was very important to the justice in this case here was the denunciation factor, the sending a clear message where there's domestic violence, particularly in a situation where there's extreme domestic violence or the potential of grave harm, that the sentences will be severe.
Since Goldberg has been held in pretrial custody for more than 3 years, his remaining jail time is cut down to 2 years less a day. The victims were not in court, but the prosecutor said it's an ordeal they just want to move on from.